What is going on, everyone? NoZoupForYou here, and today I've got a review of the Smolensk that everyone has heard about right now. You've probably heard it's got crazy DACA HE, and you would not be mistaken if you heard and said that. But before I get to the review of the Smolensk, I've got some big news, some gigantic news. I am wiped out. I was at a gender reveal, and it was my own gender reveal. NoZoupForYou is having twins. That's right, and it's a boy and a girl nonetheless. So, coming up in the next year, 2020, right around the March time frame, Mrs. Zoop and myself are expecting, and I am very, very excited. I know that I have shared with you all the issues that my wife and I have had trying to conceive, but 3 months in, things are looking great right now. We can't be happier. And we just had this wonderful news that we're having a boy and a girl, so I am very, very excited. I know that it means I'm probably going to have to scale back the amount of warships that I play, but it's all good. It's for a great purpose. I can raise my prodigy to play World Warships. My prodigies, since I'm having two. So that's the big news I've got. On to the Smolensk. The Smolensk can be found in the armory for a total of 244,000 coal. Now, many of you are probably wondering whether it is worth the coal, because there's some other ships that are available for coal, and I'm going to tell you right now that yes, absolutely is worth it. But before I get into the details of that, let's go over some statistics of the Smolensk. And this is going to be for my loadout right now. The stats I'm about to give you are not base. Again, that's with my loadout. And just to go over that loadout real quick, on my captain, I'm using AFT, BFT, Concealment Expert, and Superintendent. And the reason I'm using Superintendent is I like that extra smoke charge. You're going to want that extra smoke charge on this ship, but it's not absolutely necessary. One other thing I take on this ship is Adrenaline Rush, because when you get in the late stages of the game and you have lower health, you can fire even faster. Now, this is what I'm using right now. This isn't the only captain setup I've used, though. You might be saying, hey, Zoop, you're not using IFHE. Yeah, you can probably use IFHE if you want to. But I don't feel that there's an absolute need to, because even as is, you can deal 4, 5, 6,000 damage per salvo with your HE and start fires. Regardless, you're going to start fires. But I have played this ship with IFHE, and it works just as well. Again, this is one of those ships that you can tailor to your preferences. I chose AFT and BFT just for this short period of testing because I felt I wanted the range after the range got nerfed just a little bit. Again, though, you can pretty much set this ship up however you want to your liking. That's the beautiful thing about this ship. It's just so strong, really it doesn't matter what captain skills you take. Module-wise, as far as the upgrades are concerned, I've got the main battery modification 3 because I want that decreased reload time. I've got Concealment Expert just to conceal myself as much as possible. That's my own personal preference. Took Propulsion Modification 2 in the 4 slot. Again, personal preference. You could take Steering Gears Mod 2 if you want to. It really doesn't matter. In the 3 slot, I took AA Guns Mod 1. Again, the AA on this ship is very, very stout. So why not make it a little more stout? So let's get into some stats of this ship. Survivability, you've got 32,400 hit points. On the artillery side of things, this is where things get very, very crazy. If you think the Atlanta has a lot of guns, the setup on this ship is insane. You've got 4 quadruple gun turrets. They're 130 millimeters. On my ship with AFT and BFT, the maximum range is 16.6 kilometers. While that's not as far as some people might like, I tell you what, it's far enough. Especially on this ship. It might be too far. Really, this ship probably only needs about 15 kilometers, just because with this range, it is still a very, 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 very strong ship. You also have torpedoes on this ship. On each side, you've got 5. They travel a total of 8 kilometers at 60 knots. So, while they're not the best offensive weapon, they will work in a pinch, and you can definitely catch some people by surprise, especially if you're in smoke and they try and charge up on you. That AA I was talking about, again, point-wise, it's an 89 out of 100. That's one of the better values you can have on its AA. You got a very good mixture right here of short, mid, and long-range AA guns, which will make any carrier think twice about sending airplanes your way. In fact, if they do that, they're likely to lose a fair amount, if not all of them, especially if you decide to equip defensive fire, which you have the ability to do, but you'll be sacrificing hydro. Again, that's another personal preference item. Maneuverability, your maximum speed is 36.8 knots with Sierra mics. You are a fast ship. Turning circle radius 750 meters with a rudder shift time of 8.2 seconds. Your concealment with everything, including concealment expert and concealment system modification 1, is 10 kilometers. And 10 kilometers is going to put you right at about Des Moines and Minotaur range. And don't forget, once again, you've got smoke. So let's get into the actual rating of this ship. We're going to start with offensive capabilities. Yes, we've all heard that this thing has sick HE. We've heard that this thing is likely overpowered. While I don't like to use the term overpowered flippantly, I must say that this ship is very, very strong. And yes, not only does it have sick, disgusting HE that starts tons and tons of fires because you're slinging so many shells, the AP also works in a pinch. If ships get broadside to you, especially light cruisers, you are going to mess them up with your AP. And not only that, the ship is accurate. At 16.6 kilometers, you're firing lasers. This is just a very, very strong offensive ship. And let's not forget the fact that you have smoke, another offensive capability that just makes this ship an absolute pain to play against. So for offensive capabilities, I am giving the Smolensk a 10 out of 10. Alright, moving on to defensive capabilities. Did I say you have smoke? Yeah, you've got smoke. So smoke is one of those offensive and defensive capabilities. It helps you stay hidden, so that's a plus on the defensive side. It's just a little fragile, which that's good. It needs to be fragile. If it wasn't fragile, we'd be having serious issues. Just like the Colbert, these two ships have to have a weakness, because without that fragility, they don't have a weakness. So for your defensive capability, she gets an 8.5 out of 10. On maneuverability, she gets an 8 out of 10. She's fast. I told you she's fast. Almost 37 knots with Sierra mics. That's a fast ship right there. Rudder shift, if you put dual rudder shift on, yeah, you're going to make this ship very quick. But do you really need maneuverability when you've got smoke and you can just hide in smoke or behind terrain and sling HE? On the competitive side of things, she has all the attributes of a Kutuzov, but at tier 10. So in ranked gameplay, you will definitely see her if we have ranked gameplay at tier 10. People are going to take her out. Clan battles might be a little different of a situation though, where range is a little more important. Her range, while it isn't short, it isn't far either. The smoke and the HE do make her a very enticing choice though, so Minotaur players might be willing to give up the Minotaur and take out the Smolensk instead. And the reason for this is I think the HE on the Smolensk is a little better than the AP on the Minotaur. Both have smoke. Of course, sometimes Minotaurs take radar in clan battles. So no radar, but you don't have smoke. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not players do take her out in clan battles. I think it's really going to be one of those things where we have to wait and watch, and one person might test the waters with it. You might see more trickle in after that. But definitely ranked, you're going to see her. She's just too strong of a ship not to play ranked gameplay. So for competitive, she gets an 8.5 out of 10. Now let's talk about the fun factor. She's a 9 out of 10. She's a blast to play. But I think for some Unicum and Super Unicum players, they might get bored with her pretty quickly. She really doesn't represent that much of a challenge. And I know a lot of players really do like a challenge. It's worse than the Colbert, but in all the right ways. With all those categories combined, overall the Smolensk gets a 9 out of 10. Though she's not perfect, she nearly is perfect. And she's a pain in the butt to play against. So what's my take? What is my take on the Smolensk? Why is this ship here? It really shouldn't be. A lot of other people have said she's broken. A lot of other players have said things like she has God tier HE. And yeah, I can see why they would say that. I can see absolutely why they'd say that. It's not hard to do really good in this ship. Not hard at all. If you're a Super Unicum or a Unicum player, you're going to do very dirty, overpowered things in this ship. If you're just an average player or a decent player, this ship is going to be strong in your hands. And even if you're a poor player, you're probably going to be able to make her work just on the account of its HE, which starts fires left and right, and while starting fires, does a lot of damage. So yes, this ship is pretty crazy. But she does have weaknesses. And again, she's fragile. If you get caught broadside, you are going to get rocked. I mean, to the point that even destroyers are going to tear you apart if they decide to switch up to AP. So she does have some kryptonite, and I guess I should be saying he because it is a Russian ship. But yes, there are some definite weaknesses on it. So it's not completely overpowered. It's not. But in the hands of certain players, it's going to be. And those are mainly the Unicum and the Super Unicum players, if they decide to play her. Which, again, like I said, they very well might get bored of her and look for a better challenge. But these things are going to be flooding random battles for quite a while because players have caught on how strong this ship is. Is this ship worth the coal? Yes, it's definitely worth the coal over any other coal ship in the game. So I would get the Smolensk before it disappears permanently, because I have a good suspicion that it might. I can't imagine this ship sticking around forever, because it's just too detrimental for the game. Like I said, it's worse than the Colbert, but not that type of worse. It's all the right kind of worse, and the Colbert is a dirty ship. This ship is just even more dirty. So there you have it, a review of the Smolensk, a very, very strong Tier 10 Russian cruiser. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching, thanks for coming out. Be sure to hit that sub button if you have not yet already, and be sure to get notifications so you know when ship reviews and news comes out. And again, thank you for sharing this wonderful news about my future babies with me. I'm very excited. Anyhow, thanks for watching. I'll catch you all later. Zoop out.